Well, the Longhorn faithful can breathe a sigh of relief as their team reached a milestone 3 years in the making. How coach Tom Herman turned a Big 12 upset into a late-season RSVP. ABBOTT trying to keep your vehicle from being stolen and sold for parts, the simple way to keep burglars from targeting your car. Plus, Christian leaders in Alabama rallying against Senate candidate Roy Moore, why his wife and others are supporting him despite those sexual assault allegations. We'll have more on those stories in just a moment, but first, an 11-year-old is recovering from what's being called an accidental gunshot wound this evening. Caldwell County Sheriff's Office says the child was shot in the upper torso a little after 10 this morning near the rural community of McMahon. According to the Sheriff's Office, the child was under his father's supervision, and the father is said to have hurt his finger. Both were airlifted to a nearby hospital. No word yet on the extent of those injuries. And the other big story today, well, the winds really picked up just ahead of a nice cool down. It'll finally start feeling fall right ahead of Thanksgiving. Nathan Gogo is here to tell us all about it. Nathan, I can feel it getting colder by the second out there.
Yeah, it feels a lot different than it did earlier this morning. Actually, this morning before the cold front moved through, it was quite warm, and temperatures in some spots reached into the mid-80s. In fact, 84 degrees at Camp Mabry, 82 in Georgetown. But right now, temperatures have really dropped significantly, upper 60s already. It's only 6 o'clock, 68 right now at Bergstrom, 68 at Camp Mabry. Humidity is low, and the winds a bit breezy out there from the north at about 10 miles per hour. So that allows the temperatures to really drop. It's pretty breezy out there. We got sustained winds anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour, but gusts still at this hour as high as 25 to 30 in some cases. Tonight, temperatures will be dropping fast. We'll be into the upper 40s around the city. By the time we wake up for tomorrow, in upper 30s across parts of the hill country. We'll be talking about that 7-day forecast. It looks to be feeling like late fall around here. More on that coming up in just a couple minutes, Chris.
All right, I am loving these temperatures, though. Thank you, Nathan. A rally today in Birmingham, Alabama, opposing Roy Moore. The Republican Senate candidate is facing several allegations of sexual misconduct. ABC's Mona Riviera has more on that rally and how Moore's supporters are standing firm behind him.
Amen. Amen.
Religious leaders speaking out Saturday against embattled Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore.
There is nothing Christian about the policies Moore has supported.
Rally leaders criticizing the Republican candidate over allegations he made improper sexual advances toward teenage girls decades ago.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, thy neighbor's teenage daughter.
Moore has denied the allegations of sexual misconduct.
They're not only untrue, but they have no evidence to support them.
The White House walking a tightrope over the issue.
The president certainly finds the allegations extremely troubling.
But whenever the president is asked directly about it,
should Roy Moore resign, Mr. President? Do you believe his accusers?
He ignores the question. Moore's supporters, including his wife, standing by their man.
He has always been an officer and a gentleman.
Alabama's governor still backing Moore, telling reporters,
"That's what I plan to do, is vote for the Republican nominee, Roy Moore."
The election will be held December 12th. Mona Riviera, ABC News, New York.
And since the allegations against Moore came to light, he has lost some big endorsements. And on the fence right now is Governor Greg Abbott. He says if the claims against Moore are true, he should drop out of the race.
The allegations are disgusting. If they're true, I think he should not be in the race.
Governor Abbott joins Senators John Cornyn and Ted Cruz in the list of lawmakers who have distanced themselves from Moore. Meanwhile, the White House is reacting to sexual allegations against U.S. Senator Al Franken. This after the 2006 picture was released of the former comedian. President Trump expressing outrage on Twitter. Quote, "The Al Frankenstein picture is really bad and speaks 1,000 words. Where do his hands go in pictures 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 while she sleeps?" However, President Trump still hasn't commented on allegations against candidate Roy Moore, as we mentioned. As two Dallas parents' girl sits in a jail cell this evening, questions mount over what will happen to their 4-year-old daughter. Wesley and Cindy Matthews are charged with injuring, abandoning, and endangering their youngest daughter, Sharon. The adopted 3-year-old's body was found in a culvert last month, not far from the family's home. Now the state has to decide where their biological daughter will live. She's currently staying with a foster family. An attorney familiar with the case says having the girl live with her grandparents is a valid option, but ultimately that decision will go before a judge. Nearly 3 months later, recovery from Hurricane Harvey is still going strong, but to continue, Texas leaders are arguing that the state will need a lot more funding. Here's a look at what the government has done to help efforts so far. Last night, Governor Abbott announced a $5 billion federal disaster recovery grant. The federal government also approved $15 billion for disaster relief. However, that's going to be shared with all of the states and territories recently hit by hurricanes. The state of Texas has contributed $103 million, while the Rebuild Texas Fund set sights on raising $100 million. But all of those numbers pale in comparison, of course, to the $61 billion that Abbott asked of Congress at the end of October. Live music, floats, balloons, even a legion of stormtroopers. There they are. Today was the Chewy's Children's Giving to Children Parade, and hundreds of people lined Congress Avenue for one of my favorite annual events here in Austin. Children are encouraged to bring toys to the parade to donate to children in need for the holidays.
It's a glow-in-the-dark, I don't know, you just make a little home for a fairy and a unicorn.
I really do like helping others, and it's a nice thing to do, and you get to watch a parade.
The kiddos not only got to watch the parade, but they got to take part in it. After Santa pulls his sleigh, toy trucks stop on the street, and all of the children run over to throw their toys in. That way they can go to other kids in need, and those toys go to Austin Police Department's Blue Santa program. Well, still ahead on KP News at 6.
A burglar or a car thief cannot then resell it to a chop shop.
Car thefts are a big problem here in Austin. See the simple way our police department can make your vehicle that much more protected from thieves for free. That's still ahead.